There is real concern about street crime in Melbourne. There is these gangs.
Listen, Melbourne, okay? I love the hood. I'm from the hood. We embrace the hood. The hood made us. But I don't want to be on vacation in the hood. I think I might have to stick to Sydney. I got a comment. Shout out to the lads. Shout out to the lads. Hold on, one more time. Shout out to the lads. Doing, mate. Oh, shout out to the lads. Yeah, that's gonna be the ad-libs. Like when I finally record that song, that's gonna be the ad-libs. I'm like, doing, mate. But of course it's gonna be way more swaggy. You're like, stop playing with me. I already know. Listen, you click the title, you read the page. I struggle with saying Melbourne. And y'all never tell me if I'm saying it right. Y'all usually say, yo, TT, you saying that wrong. But ain't nobody tell me if I'm saying Melbourne right. So I'm going to say this loud and proud. So I hope I'm saying this right because ain't nobody correct me. Shout out Melbourne. Shout out Melbourne. Yo, Melbourne, African gangs is crazy. What's happening? Do they have gay gangs? I have so much questions. I really do. Like, because it's like you guys separated your like ethnicities into gangs. That's crazy. You know, it's like, because you could be a Crip and be like a different ethnicity than black. You don't just got to be African American. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm just curious how it works in Melbourne. All right, so subscribe for the vibe. Let's get it.
There is real concern about street crime in Melbourne. There is real concern about Sudanese gangs.
Listen, Melbourne, okay? I love the hood. I'm from the hood. We embrace the hood. The hood made us. But I don't want to be on vacation in the hood. I think I might have to stick to Sydney. I got a comment that says you better come to Melbourne, but I don't know. Y'all gonna protect me? Y'all better.
The events that have taken place over the last 24 months make me rethink my place in Victoria and calling Victoria home.
Gang culture with an emphasis on African youth.
Why in the world is this thing echoing? Like, that is so annoying.
Describe them as gangs.
Yeah, you can describe them as gangs.
Tension this week on whether
this has been a difficult time. I tend to describe it as feeling under siege.
6 months ago, I spent 10 days on the streets of Melbourne with the South Sudanese and African...
Melbourne. He said Melbourne. Melbourne, right?
6 months ago, I spent 10 days on the streets of Melbourne with...
Melbourne? Yo, it's funny because I got to remember the comment when it was like, yo, it's funny that she always pronounces it wrong after she hears it multiple times. Is that an American? Is it because I'm an American? You know what? I'm going to go on live and I want you guys to join me. So we could either do it on Twitch, something that we can join. I'm going to just randomly pick somebody to stream live, but you got to be 18 and up because you got to be an adult. You got to be 18 and up. And I'm going to challenge you to my slang and see if no matter how times I say, oh, nah, no funny shit. Yo, shorty bugging. How many times I want to hear y'all say that. And I want to hear y'all say that. We're just going to have fun. It's going to be a dope live stream. It's going to be TT challenges the lads to an American slang contest. Because y'all always say I say y'all stuff wrong. I want to hear how y'all say my stuff.
With the South Sudanese and African community.
Matter of fact, I know what y'all TT, you always talking. I know. Y'all make me happy. I love to talk. Y'all see the smile on my face? You guys really make the happy. Y'all make me happy. So just rock out with me. Look, this is what I want to do. I'm going to say a line. And I want one of you guys to DM me in a voice note, say it exactly like this, and it better sound American. Or try your best. All right, this is the line. Yo, what's good with shorty? She bugging out like, bro, chill. Oh nah, that's the line. You gotta say that. What's good with shorty? She bugging out. You gotta chill. Oh nah, that's the line. Try your best to say it in the New York accent, cause I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all making fun of me. Shout out Melbourne.
Who live here, in their homes, with their families, with their at-risk young men, and with the police who are trying to control them.
Lads, I almost had a cough attack. No funny. It's crazy. I had to stop the video just now.
Fallen to this community. So I'm back to find out what has changed and what hasn't.
This is what police said in February about using the word gangs in relation to African youth crime.
So in this context, is the word gang a policing word or a political word?
It's a word that should be used appropriately.
and you think it's been used inappropriately?
Sometimes it can be.
But Commissioner Graham Ashton recently said they can be described as gangs.
How has that changed from 6 months ago when police told 7:30 that the use of this term was inappropriate?
What we know is that these young people come together quite quickly, and maybe just for one night. So our traditional notion of a gang just doesn't apply. As a police, as law enforcement, we often, when we refer to gangs, we're looking at things like OMCGs, outlaw motorcycle gangs, organised crime groups. That's not the case here.
So African Australians aren't involved in those sorts of organised crime in Victoria?
We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing African Australians involved in OMCGs or organised crime.
So why are people from a South Sudanese background 50?
Okay, so the African Australians ain't cutting up. Shout out to the African Australians, yo. Yeah, that's gangster, yo. Yo, I want to meet the African Australians.
It was a mistake that I'm willing to put my hand up and own.
Cause you know what I never could wrap my head around? How come you can always tell the difference between the African American and the African? You ever notice that? It's like you can always it's like a look. You know? Drop a comment.
We have people who have been scared to live in their own homes.
Liberal member for Latrobe and former policeman Jason Wood says youth crime has not gone away in southeastern Melbourne.
The number one issue is youth gang crime. Number one issue. And that's not because people are reading about it in the papers, that's because they've either been the victim or they know someone who has been the victim.
He's taking me to a shopping centre in his electorate that was the scene of a recent robbery at knife point.
Okay, Andy, here we are at Fountain Gate Shopping Centre. Last Sunday, 4 o'clock, 16-year-old boy is just waiting for his parents to pick him up. And what happens is approached by two Africans and European youth. They then produce the knife and basically rob him.
Yes, there's been a number of high-profile crimes, some committed by allegedly South Sudanese young people. But haven't those crimes been, like this one you're indicating, haven't they been elevated to be relevant in a political year? This is an election year.
Well, at the same time, too, if you spoke to the victim or their family or their friends or the witnesses, this to them is a very, very serious crime.
A vocal critic of the Victorian government's response to crime, he's calling for a federal government task force like those used to combat gang crime.
They always trying to bring the task force. Every time they can't do their job, they want to bring the task force. Y'all can't control. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Kids can be out of control though. I ain't gonna lie. I take it back. Kids can be out of control. I take it back. You know what? Yeah. Drop a comment. What y'all think?
Crimes overseas.
I visited the UK and visited the US, realised how effective joint task force actually are, and that's...
The police say that there isn't an organised crime problem. That's what we're hearing from Commander Bateson.
Well, Victoria, I'm a former Victoria police officer. I was also at the organised crime squad.
So you're saying he's wrong?
I'm saying Victoria...
Either I'm high and got the munchies, but don't this nigga look like, you know when you go to Cold Stones? I don't know if you guys got Cold Stones, but like an ice cream shop and they put like the 2 layers on it. And his hair is like the caramel syrup. Yo, this some good weed I just purchased, bro.
Victoria Police to say there's no links to organised crime is wrong.
But police are set to get new powers in anti-association laws before Parliament, the likes of which New South Wales and Queensland have tried in the past.
The intent of those laws are to deal with organised crime and the very serious offending. Most of the offending we're seeing within the South Sudanese community is much lower level than what's intended by those laws.
If a sergeant at a police station believes that there's a group of young people and there is a person who's committed offence and the sergeant, she or he, might want to break these people up from congregating, then a notice will be issued. If those people continue to consort, so to speak, then that person then can be charged with a criminal offence which has a penalty of up to 3 years imprisonment.
So up to 3 years imprisonment for hanging out with a friend of yours who has a criminal record.
Correct. It could be used that way. That's correct.
Damn, that's some tight ass laws. My fault. Damn, that's some tight ass laws.
Not to say that there's no few groups who get together and do the wrong thing. We recognize that. But now you have a legislation that will go after them in their own safe space and criminalize them where they may have not been committing any crime in any shape or form.
There are fears a simple soccer match, like the one organised by James Cott, could be broken up by police if one of the players happened to have a criminal record.
What?
I get confused, really. Let's say I'm walking alone and people will still call me gangs.
How many of the guys here do you think are at risk of becoming disengaged?
Couple of them, right?
James says the political and media commentary involving his community has seen him personally targeted.
I was running in a group of young people in the cars. We call them whites. They stopped the car and they start calling me some names like, go back to your countries, you black gangs, you know. They stopped the car, throwing all the water bottles.
Yo, that's crazy. And you know what's so crazy when people say that? They be like, go back to your country. Nobody, that's not even your country. You know what I mean? Like, we don't own shit. That's the government's country. So shut up.
On me, and that day I was really pissed. Like, if I had anything, I would really hurt someone, but you know, because they drove up, that just pissed me up a lot, and it wasn't fair.
So that made you angry?
Yes, super angry.
You have a lot of young people who are growing up in Australia and picking up the Australian culture, which put a lot of the community leaders and elders at disadvantage because they do not understand, completely don't understand their culture and their upbringing. And the same thing with the mainstream society, who expect a young person with two different cultural identities to be of one culture. It's very hard. Majority of these young kids are growing with what you would call a third culture.
We fight because we do believe that we are part of this community.
Lawyer Nidal Nguyen is one of those who are fighting to stop the South Sudanese community from failing.
When you ask the question whether will we fail, I'm afraid that it feels like we are. There have been a handful of suicides across the African communities. Suicide is a complex thing, so I don't think one can ever really point to one issue and say, this is it. But one wonders whether the current climate plays a part. I know a lot of us are concerned about it because we've noticed actually a trend, a disturbing trend.
6 months ago, I met 18-year-old Ashraf Mohammed at a Footscray barbershop. He was in crisis and extraordinarily vulnerable. His dreams of one day becoming a pilot were fading fast. He was kicked out of a relative's home and living in a Skid Row motel.
Going to Year 12 is a big responsibility. So yeah, I was thinking of dropping out because of the situation I'm in right now, and I don't think I'll to make it, you know, through this year. So it's best for me if I drop it and then get, you know, just apply for a job.
Hey Andy, how are you? How are you?
6 months later, we meet again to find out how Ashraf has grown.
Sure. Life has been better.
Better? Good.
Better. You know, just school. Oh man, like mainly school.
You're going to school?
Yeah.
So that's a good start.
Yeah. I'll go to school 5 times.
Yo, I love the accent. Yeah.
In a week.
Ashraf has now found stable accommodation with a school friend's family and realised just how at risk he really was.
There was a time when I was like, you know what, stuff it. I'm just gonna, you know, do whatever I can to survive.
Survival for a community with typically high unemployment is being fought brick by brick here at Victoria University.
Is there much work going for new brickies like you?
Yeah, like a lot, because there's new areas coming along.
Atem and Noor are newly qualified as bricklayers
Yo, I love seeing how things are like made. That's so cool, right? Like just watching how things are made and stuff.
and have already filled jobs in an industry with labour shortages.
Yo, I love seeing how things are made. Like, drop a comment of some things that are made that you guys want to see me react to. Cause I literally watch those all the time. But I was like, I don't know if they like this. But I love seeing, like, I didn't know, like, they got to put that there and you start. I didn't know that. Like, I really did not know. I mean, but I had an idea. But it's so cool just to watch him do it. Like, wow.
At the end of the day, it's what's in the heart that counts. Nothing else.
And our bricks in your heart?
Now, you trying to play you, my boy?
Yeah, sometimes, like, it depends what kind of building I see.
Unemployment is just one of the problems in this community which doesn't always get attention.
We know we've got an issue with a small group of people, but let's not blow that out of proportion.
People think that trauma comes from war-torn country. No, trauma comes from environmental factors.
Some days I'm torn between a sense of loss, and some days, I feel very hopeful.
Damn, Melbourne. Shout out Melbourne.